Hey, spiritual superstars. I wanted to address this. Someone asked me to address it, and I had the fortune of working with another spiritual superstar recently on childhood wounds. And I think it's really important. So, when you are trying to heal from the past, from your childhood, I do believe that therapy of all kinds is, really on the table. I believe that it's super important, though, to know who you're working with and to make sure that that coach or that therapist is aware of what your goals are and that you feel empowered and in control in your therapy session or in the whole therapeutic process. Because what I have noticed, I've been coaching professionally for, it's only been 6 years. But what I've noticed is that so many therapists take advantage of their clients a lot. And that's definitely not fair, right? But it happens quite often and it really shouldn't. So, the one thing I think is really important is that you are empowered to you decide your process. In the trunk. Thank you. And for me, a big chunk of that is before you decide to work with anybody else, and you certainly don't have to work with anybody else, but I believe that working with someone super important so that you can get out of your own head and that you have someone that is going to hold you accountable to doing the work and that you know what the work is so that you're not going in circles. Um what I've noticed in doing my own healing my own childhood trauma is it takes time. It's a process. So you really want to exhale through it. And you really want to make sure you're with somebody that understands what your goal is and someone that you feel comfortable with your heart. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be with a therapist or a coach that is judgmental or one sided. You don't want to be with a coach or a therapist or a doctor or a specialist that is all Christian and you're spiritual. You want to make sure that you are congruent, that you have um you're similar in a lot of the philosophies that you have and that you just feel comfortable and you feel confident trusting your heart with them. I don't believe that if you have dealt with sexual trauma as a girl or a woman and it was from a man that you should be going to a male therapist. I don't know. That's not something that I think that that would cause a block for anybody. So if you were a guy and you were abused by a man, then I don't feel like going to a man is going to be is going to be a good gender choice for a therapist or a coach. So keep looking. You know what I mean? Like, don't box yourself in to a relationship because someone else says this is the person that's available and this is who's going to pay for it or you know, healthcare is going to pay for it or something like that. Go with what God says. What does Spirit say? That may not be the person. That may be the breaking of the starting point of you looking for therapy, finding the right person that is going to work for you, right? But one of the things that I really believe is important in healing childhood trauma, besides accountability, going with the right person to begin with, and just having that confidant. And it doesn't have to be someone you know. That's the whole point, is that when it's someone you know, sometimes there's judgment there, you know? Sometimes there is just um they think they know you too good, you know? And especially if they have gone through it with you, or they know from that standpoint, or they know the other person, or they know the people or the family or whatever. I just feel like it should be someone that you know their credentials, and you don't feel boxed in with the parameters of how who's paying for it. Could be insurance, could not be, but you have to be, your comfort level has to be there. One of the things I noticed, be very careful about going to a coach when you really need a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and be okay with that. You know, a coach should really be professional enough and have integrity and ethical moral compass enough to let you know if the help you need, they would suggest you need therapy instead of coaching, because that's different. But coaching is primarily for future forward. I have kind of been, I could think I was kind of pushed into the sea of helping our spiritual superstars, and whoever spirit sends to me, heal from childhood wounds and be able to go forward. So that's something that I like to do. And one of the sessions that I just had recently, she actually is going to a therapist and not comfortable at all with them. And I simply was on the phone with this beautiful soul for about 15 minutes before she said her therapist had never even brought up the things that I did. And she felt so empowered by our discussion. And I think that that's a disservice. And I'm so glad that she understood that, what she should be getting out of each session. You know, you shouldn't have to wait to get a result. If you're going to therapy, you shouldn't have to wait for 5 sessions to get something that's meaty if you're going to a good therapist or a good coach. So, but take your time. It is a process. But like I said, you should be getting something out of each session. And a coach should be skilled enough to know how to pull that out of you without making you feel attacked. So I hope that this really helps. Hey, Enlightened Goddess, and anybody else that's on, thank you so much. Um, the last thing I'd like to share, I think, is when you're healing childhood wounds, I think it's super important that you know what forgiveness looks like for you, because it's different for everybody. Forgiveness may not be possible physically for you to say you're sorry, or for the person to say they're sorry to you. It may not be possible. So forgiveness is a whole different look when it's someone that is in their immediate, and the possibility is there, or it has to be there. And also, don't forget that when you're healing childhood wounds, you are including everybody. I had several clients actually, that were sexually abused, and the parents knew, and it was either a family friend or a family member, and the parents brought the abuser around their children even after the fact, and told their children basically that it's not something they're going to talk about, and that uh, they said that they're sorry. So the abused needs to go ahead and forgive them. No opportunity for healing at all. No listening, no opportunity for them to be heard. And if there's siblings, chances are you're trying to protect your siblings too from being abused. So that's my 2 cents, and I hope this has helped you. I have never been sexually abused. I have been healing from different childhood wounds, and I'm at a point of peace. And the last part I guess I do want to say though is the separation, the detachment. The detachment is real. And sometimes that's what you have to ultimately have as a goal, is to be able to emotionally, mentally detach, sometimes physically, financially, right? Sometimes sexually. And it is that whole body experience. So if you want to talk more about this, we certainly can. I'm certainly open to it. And if you need help, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. So um, I hope this has helped somebody. I'm Nicole Andre V, founder of Spiritual Guidance Academy, and we help you master your spiritual gifts, learn all about spiritual guidance, and how to hear from the Most High. I'm a spiritual problem solver, and I hope that I have helped you or will help you solve your problems. All right, I'll talk to you very soon. Take great care and have a beautiful, beautiful day.